Hi, I'm Shane with Precision Turf, and today we're talking about yard logistics. Not just how to cut a yard, the logistics of how to cut a yard, the logistics of where you pull your truck up, how you're gonna make your route on your mower, how you're making your route with your weed eater and your edging, and how to come off your lines for things like water boxes and things like that. In order to do lawn care, you have to be efficient. And one way to be efficient is to understand and know your properties, and also know how to train your guys to cut your properties if your company is large enough to hire employees. The first thing that we're talking about is where to pull your truck up to. You need to think about where you need to park that truck in order to be the most efficient on your property, on your yard that you're taking care of. Now, on a property this size, it's not as important to think about where you're mowing at, because the mower, you're sitting on a machine that you can zoom back and forth to wherever you need to go. You need to think about where you want your weed eater to start, where you want your trimming to start, and the route that you're going to take. And you want that route to start at the truck and end at the truck the best way possible. Now, this may not always be possible. However, you can think about these things and work this yard out in advance and figure these things out. So if you are running your own business, or if you're setting up new yards for your new employees, a good thing to think about doing is taking a Google picture and looking at that Google overhead picture and routing that yard. If you cannot be efficient in this business, you will not make money. So here we go. Here you see the guys, they've started the mowers out of the truck, and it's starting on the corner by the driveway. And the trimmer is going to start also on that corner. And the trimmer is just right now is going to follow that mower. This is also an important thing to think about and to do. It is very helpful to start your mower on the area that your trimmer is going to start as well. On this property right here, we don't have to flat line the grass that runs right on the curb that the mower's mowing right now. We just mow over the curb with the mower and get as much as we can if possible, so that we don't have to flat line that grass and then come back and edge it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, a lot of companies, and you may do this, a lot of companies will flat line that edge along the curb lines, meaning trim an inch or so off the top and then come back and edge it. We don't feel like that's efficient. That's one thing that we do not do, that a lot of companies do. We believe that it is a waste of time. Basically, you're mowing over it and then you're flatlining it again. You're wasting your trimmer's time. Time is money. Being efficient is important. So you'll see as our trimmer here gets to the corner, there's water boxes there. So he's coming back, and this is very important. You have to hit those areas outside of your route when you are as close as possible to your route. So this is the closest point to these water boxes. He's going to go ahead and hit those. Now, our guy on the mower is making his passes around the outside of the section that he's decided to start. We typically try to get 3 passes away from the house, so we're blowing away from the house. This property we do a little bit different because we run lines different ways. A lot of the properties that we mow will run lines different ways, and you can tell in this property here that this has been mowed one way a few times, another way a few times, and then another way a few times. So we go diagonal and then back and forth, and then opposite diagonal is usually how we run our properties. We try to keep the mower from blowing at the house. Now, our trimmer here has made it to the sidewalk, and he'll run down that sidewalk one side and then come back to the other. That's the way we figured out to do it the best, and you'll see as he continues, we're going to fast forward here as he runs down that sidewalk. It's very important to note here that the mower has now come over to this side of the sidewalk. Why? Well, because we don't want to have to flatline that, and we want to make sure that the trimmer knows exactly what he has to trim, exactly what he may have to flatline, because as this mower gets closer to that fence over there, there may be a few little areas that need to be flatlined, or actually need to be weed-eated, is what we say here in the South. So he comes over here and gives him a head start on that. Also, against the fence line, you want your trimmer to do the least amount of work as possible. Trimming takes a long time. If you can slow down on your mower and catch an extra spot that may take you an extra 3 seconds to catch as a mower, it may save your trimmer 15 to 30 seconds. That's very important, being efficient. We talk about being efficient. Be efficient. Hit the spots. Take the time to hit those spots on the mower that you can hit, especially inside corners. Inside corners are a big deal. Slow down. Hit those inside corners as much as you can possibly get to save your trimmer time. The guy on the trimmer is walking around doing the harder job of the two. Let's try to cut down his workload, because it is completely unnecessary and irresponsible as far as efficiency goes to not slow down enough to save some time for him on the trimmer. When you're running the trimmer, you want a guy on the mower that's going to do the same for you. And as a company owner, you want to teach these things to your employees. So if you've been paying attention, you've noticed that the trimmer has not stopped since he started. He's been efficient, started at the corner of the driveway and worked his way all the way around the road, down the fence line, back around the front sidewalks. Now he's working that inside corner there. The inside corner we talked about, that's important. Slow your mower down, hit those inside corners as much as you can. And he's going to continue to work back to the sidewalk. This is giving him a route that is efficient and that will end him in the proper place. We haven't talked about the guy on the mower very much. For this property, because we cut it 3 different ways, there's basically 3 different processes of how we go about cutting this. We do 2 weeks diagonal, 2 weeks straight, and 2 weeks back diagonal. And sometimes we'll even go another 2 weeks the opposite, perpendicular of the straight week. As a mower, being efficient as a mower is making sure you are using the full width of your deck. I've seen it so many times, especially new guys that come in and maybe have run a 0 turn before and maybe haven't. The thing that they have to work on the most when we hire them on is typically using the full width of the mower. You'll see he's making 3-point turns. We do 3-point turns. The yard was not wet on this day. However, we really try to make sure that we're not tearing up the customer's yard, and you should too. Also, it helps come back at your line straight. And when you make those spin turns, you guys know, if you've been doing this for a little while, that tears the customer's grass up. All right, back to the trimmer. He's off his line again. He was running his line. He crossed over the driveway. And now he's off his line, hitting the electrical boxes over there. And again, that's very important. Hit the areas off your line when you are at the closest point to those areas off of your route. I hope that makes sense. I've tried to say that a few times, but I really hope that makes sense, because if you have to stop what you're doing and come back to that, you're just wasting time. Another good point is always have extra string in your pocket. Nothing irks me more than to see a guy walking all the way back to the truck when he's on the opposite side of the property to get string or to fill up his weed eater because he didn't check it before he started. And I get mad at myself when I do that. If I run out of gas because I was just in a hurry and grabbed a weed eater, get all the way across the property, run out of gas, and had to come back to the truck. That's just completely unnecessary. It should be a standard operating procedure for you or your guys to have string in their pocket and make sure that there's enough gas in the weed eater to complete the project. So you'll see our trimmer is still being efficient. He's going to finish the back side of that fence line and then walk over to the fence on the other side of the driveway and finish out his line there. Mower is back to his line, running his lines. We try to do these as straight as possible, but in our East Texas area, you really can't even see when we try to stripe anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You can kind of see it from the sky, but our grass doesn't grow like you guys up north, like the fescues and the different types of grass, Kentucky bluegrass and stuff like that. It doesn't grow like that. It's not going to stripe like you guys see. So we don't really worry about stripes. We try to do straight lines, but striping here is not a big deal. When we run our lines this way, it takes us a little bit longer on this side that the mower's on right now to go back and forth on this side to run those lines. When we run them the other way, the other side takes a little bit longer to do. So it's a give and take on the changing the direction. Why do we change directions? Well, compaction. What is compaction? Compaction is where you run over the same area over and over, and it creates ruts. Compaction is basically ruts. And then compaction causes soil to not be as healthy as it can be because you don't want it fully compacted all the time. And then you have a hard time growing the grass. So that's why you want to change your lines, go from diagonal to at least alternate 2 alternations of either diagonal, opposite diagonal, or straight and then perpendicular to what you did the last time. You'll see our trimmer now going into this area here. And this is probably pretty unconventional, but I'm going to explain it to you guys. Most of our properties are commercial properties, and so we just carry big mowers. This is one of maybe 3 nice residential yards that we do. The majority of the other yards that we do are commercial. We do not have a push mower, so we just weed eat these small areas like this. And that's completely up to you what you want to do. And it's based on the setup. What does your company do? Because we are mostly commercial, we do not see the need to carry around a push mower for 3 properties every week. It would just be unnecessary. It wouldn't fit in the trailer. We'd have to lose a mower or change our setup. And it just doesn't make sense to get rid of a 60-inch mower to have a push mower, or to buy a bigger trailer to fit a push mower in it. So we've been talking about being efficient. I will point out that we're not perfect. And so what you see right here is the mower going back to a section on the other side of the front sidewalk. He could have finished that in a more efficient way earlier. He didn't. That's one thing that I'll talk to our crew leader about and see if we can make a few changes. Now, being that it's a mower, it only costs us about 15 to 30 seconds. That's tolerable, right? And it may be something that's not even worth talking to your guys about. But if this is you and you're trying to save every bit of time that you can, listen, you're out there working on these yards. It is hot, it's tough work, and you want to get them done and get home to your family, right? That's important. Why do we do this? We do this because we want to support our families, we want to take care of our families, and we want to do a good job. We want to make money. There's a lot of reasons, but at the end of the day, we want to get done and get home to our families. You may not have the 30 seconds to waste. You may have to grind every second of the day to get your work done. So this is an area where you can look at and say, am I being the most efficient that I possibly can be? Am I using the total width of that mower? Am I making fast, efficient, safe turns? When I say safe, I mean not tearing up the yards. So you'll see the mower finish this area up. Now he's going to run all the way back to the other side of the driveway. Again, that was 30 seconds getting there, 30 seconds or so getting back. And so this is another area. So we lost a minute total on this because the mower route wasn't planned out completely. Now we're on the other side of the driveway with the mower. Our trimmer is still working on that area. That's a little dog area. So cars, you see him about to pass the SUV there. He's blowing towards the fence. This is important. You do not want to tear things up. That's when things happen that cost our companies money. So you have to be as safe as possible and not tear the customer's property up. When I was talking earlier about making 3 passes away from the house before doing anything else, that's very important. You don't want to break a window. House windows can cost anywhere from $200 to, I've seen some at $1,500. Listen, we broke a few. And right here where he passes the SUV, the blades aren't on. You don't want to file that on your insurance, first off, because your insurance is going to go up. So just don't make the mistake. So right here, he went all the way back, and now he's, again, blowing back towards the fence. Mower's getting loaded up. Let's talk real quick about everybody knowing their job responsibility. Here, I had the guy on the mower stop because we were filming. I wanted to get everything in order before we started blowing here. But typically, he needs to know his job. The guy on the mower needs to know his job. He needs to know when he gets back to that truck, he's immediately grabbing that blower. He needs to know that the guy trimming, where he's at and how far along he is. he needs to know where he needs to start with the blower and what his route's going to be. So typically he would have a blower right now going. We're going to fast forward to that point. Okay, so now we have the blower, and he's going to take a similar route as the weed eater, but a little bit different. You'll see him as he goes. So he's got his job. He's blowing. And at this property, actually all of our properties, we maintain, it's a full meal deal package. Year-round properties that we go once a week from March to October and every other week in the winter. What that means is we take care of everything. We mow the yard, we edge it, we weed eat it, we blow, we take care of the shrubs, we trim the shrubs as necessary, as needed, and we spray weeds on the property. The guy that was trimming has now picked up a backpack sprayer, and he's catching the weeds on the outside curb line, and he'll go into the beds and clean the beds and maybe spray some weeds in there. If you're going to be spraying weeds in beds, just be very careful. Make sure you're not spraying in wind. You don't want that stuff to blow. And make sure that you're not spraying to where it might get on the plants. Stay away from the plants. Be super careful. Also, pro note here, make sure your backpack sprayer is not leaking. This has happened to us before. That's why I laugh. You walk through a yard, it may be leaking down your pant line, and your shoe prints will show in that yard. That's not fun to explain that to a customer. So the blower, he's made his way down the front, around the outside curb line part of it, down the front sidewalk and around to the side. We're going to call that the side porch. He's working his way to the side porch, and he's going to work his way around from there. We'll fast forward here. So he's working his way to the beds while our blower is still working on the back patio. There's a lot of little nooks and crannies in that back patio that are difficult to get to. Now our sprayer guy's back at the truck. Now you'll see the guy who was on the weed eater first, he then sprayed, and now he's picked up a trash bag, and he's going to go into the beds and pull the weeds that he could not spray. This is a point where if the beds are clean, if we did this the week before and beds are clean and everything's trimmed and no weeds need to be sprayed, then he would just grab a blower at this point. Or he would grab a blower at the beginning, and they would blow going in different directions. They would probably have a discussion. You should have a discussion of, hey, I'm going to go this way and you go that way. The only time that you stick together as blowers is if you're blowing large areas, say leaves, or large areas of concrete that have grass all over them that you need to work together. That's more efficient than breaking up. But here, we're now pulling weeds on the property. Okay, now you'll see the blower is finishing up the back porch. Now he's going to come out of that sidewalk. The only place where he's redundant is coming out that front sidewalk because he's already blown that off. So that is the only place where his route of blowing is redundant, which means that 30 seconds is wasted. However, there may not be another way to route this property with a blower better than what he did. He's going to work his way out to the road, finish up that curb line, we're fast forwarding there, come down the back driveway all the way around and end at the truck. All right, guys, as we're coming down here, finishing up this video, we appreciate you watching. Thanks for taking the time out of your day. I hope this provided you some value. If it did, please take a second and like the video and subscribe to our channel. That really helps our channel out. I know we've said this before, but we want to continue making these videos for you guys to help you guys. And so we need your help by subscribing and by liking the videos just to get them out there a little bit more. We want to be able to help. We feel like we're providing valuable content for newer guys in the business, maybe even guys that have been in it for a while, and ladies that have been in it for a while that just need a little touch up on some of their processes. So thanks for watching. Remember, love God, love others, and let your work reflect that. Have a wonderful day.